Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I have to have a tote bag to carry my sewing machine because it's been storming around here lately really bad and I'm a chicken. So I need something to carry my machine to the church in because that's where I go. So I've got this Waverly fabric that I got at Walmart. It's a duck fabric. It's really thick and I absolutely loved it. And then I have this thick interfacing. You do not have to have this. But I wanted a really sturdy bag to hold my sewing machine, and it's going to be versatile to hold a couple, so it'll be big for the one, but I'm going to remedy that, and then I can pop it open for my other one, okay? And I'll show you that later. But I'm just swaying back and forth. Look at my belly. What am I doing? I don't even know why. Let me stop this, y'all. Wait. I am swinging, drinking coffee. Good Lord. I must have been on the phone. But I'm going to take this. Sorry about that, y'all. This 505 spray. This is the best basting spray. And I'm going to spray my interfacing, okay? I cut my interfacing and I will pop up measurements for you for my bag, okay? If you know how to measure your bag by your sewing machine or whatever, then you do so. But anyways, I wanted this to stick down because I don't want it to move. And I want it fused to my fabric, okay? Does that make sense? Look at my bald head. Y'all gonna see that a lot because my little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms cannot reach across through here and get this down. But I noticed this wasn't sticking, so I'm going to put a little more spray on it. Now be careful with this stuff because it sticks and it's messy. So I'm going to push this down the best I can. Well, me trying to be in a hurry, okay? I did not pre-iron my fabric. It's for a bag, and where it was folded on that little bolt at Walmart, I didn't iron it. So right here I am pulling and there's wrinkles in it, and I can feel with my hand that's down and I'm pulling wrinkles out, okay? You can turn it over and iron it to it if you want to, but I've really just got to cut it out, okay? So I'm going to cut it out when I get done playing around with it here. And I'm just going to cut around my interfacing piece because this is the piece that I want. And I'll pop the measurements up. So, this is my handy dandy scissor work. So that's all cut out right there. Okay. So I'm going to feel it now and make sure everything is down and all the bubbles are out. And when that's done, okay, this is retackable. So I felt one there. So I'm going to pull it up and then push it back down. Y'all, I was working so hard this day. You have no idea. Anyway, I haven't felt good at all. I have been feeling really cruddy this week. I did manage to go shopping with my sister, but it has been a rough week with allergies and whatnot. So my throat's sore now, so you might have to bear with me if I get a little growly. I'm sorry. I'm going to sew. I'm not going to worry about any excess fabric, right? I'm not going to cut it off right now, which I'm cutting that little piece off because it was getting on my nerves, but I'm going to leave it because I'm going to sew all the way around it. Just a tack stitch, okay? Just a tack stitch. Now I'm going to clip it just to make sure nothing moves, but I glued it because, or tacked it because I don't want to pin it. It's real thick, so I'm going to put my clips all the way around this batting and this fabric, and then I'm going to sew a stitch real close to the edge just to hold it down, okay? Okay, here are my stitches right here. All right, it's very close to the edge, just to tack it down. Now I'm going to lay this piece down on the other piece. Now I'm using the same for the lining as I did for the outside. So I'm just going to pin this down and then cut around this piece right here, and then I'll have my lining pieces. And I'll do it with this and the sides, okay? And I honestly don't know where the part was where I cut the sides out, but all I did was cut the sides according to the measurements and put my interfacing on them the same way and sewed around them as well. Now that I've got that done, this is my straps, okay? I'm putting a continuous strap around it for support, and all I did was put in my pieces, okay? I wrapped it around and figured out how long I wanted it and cut it, but I took my 2 yards. Now I will tell you it's 4 3/4 inches wide, okay? And all I'm going to do is fold it over and sew it. Now, I ironed my ends, okay? But I'm going to leave them open, and I folded those open. And that way when I sew it down, I'll be able to turn it, okay? But this strap it was the full 2 yards of the fabric, but like I said, I cut it to where I wanted it. So I'm just going to fold it in half and then sew it down. Now I've got it folded, and I ironed it in the middle because Lord knows I was not going to get that on the side straight. So I just ironed it in the middle, and that's going to be down towards the thing anyway. So now all I have to do is connect my pieces. Now when you do this, make sure you have your strap the same way, or you're going to have it twisted, and that's just going to make you mad because you'll have to take it right back off. So hold your pieces and then fold your fabric in. This is the easiest way that I found to do it. Now you may know how to do a bag easier than this. I don't know. This is just the way my brain works, and this is the way that I've done this. And I took actually a bag apart that my sewing machine fit in to try to get a pattern to make this bag, and it's not exactly like that, but I'm just going to tuck that piece in that piece, and then I'm going to sew straight down it. But anyway, this is just a pattern that I made, and the measurements that I got for me. I had to shrink the bag and all this because it was way too big for what I needed. So, and then when I get this sewn together right here, I ripped it apart. I said, you have got to be kidding. What in the world? That was that kind of day I was having. But anyway, now I got to do it again, and it all looks the same, and I'm so sorry about that, but you know, it's the same fabric. Of course it's going to look the same, but I know it blends in and you can't hardly see, but I'm going to go over there and sew these ends together right now. Now that I have them stitched together, okay, I'm going to fold this in half and then fold it again, and I'm going to find my middles, okay? So I'm going to have a strap. It's going to run down the fabric or down the bag and on both ends. So I have 2 handles. So I'm just going to put a pin in to show me where my middles are, okay? I ironed it, but I can't tell where my creases are by looking at the fabric because it all blends in together, so it didn't make no difference. So there's one on that side, and of course I pinned them 2 together because that's just how I do things. So I have to take the pin out and put it back in. So anyway, there's my 2 middles. So I ironed my bag, I folded it in half, and then ironed a crease down it. So now I'm just putting my middles matching my seam or my pins up with my seam. Okay, and it looks wonky from where you are, but it's not. And this is going to ensure that my handles on each end are the same so that I don't have any. I went in 4, but don't go in 4, go in 5. 5 was way better, so I moved it to 5 in. Now once I get to 5 inches in where I want it, I'm going to pin it in the middle, and I have it pinned on both ends so that it doesn't move. I don't want pins in it when I'm going to sew it. So what I'm going to do is I have some tape, and I'm almost positive I linked this in my Amazon store. It's really thin tape, and I bought it for zippers and for stuff like this. Now you can take, it's right there. It's real thin. You can take a fusible bond and fuse it down if you want to, just as long as you can stitch through it. So I'm going to take this double-sided tape, and I'm going to press it down under there where my seam is, and then I'm just going to run that line of tape through there and rip it off before I get to my pin, okay? And I'm going to shove it under there, and then I'm going to pull the paper off and tack that down flat. And this will not move. This is excellent tape, and it will not move once you get your backing off. Now I'm just going to stretch it out and push it down real good. Then I'm going to move my pins, and then I'm going to put tape to hold it all down, and I'm going to do that on both sides. Now, don't go to the very end. You got to leave yourself some room because we have to fold the ends down. So that's the room I was talking about. I didn't go all the way down, and I'm going to take and fold this down, and I'm going to iron it, okay? Mine, I measured it, I forgot what it was, but whatever you measure it to be, I think it's like 3/4 of an inch. Whatever you measure it to be, make sure you have the same measurements on all of your fabrics, the outside and the lining, because we have to match these up. Okay, so when I get that, I'm going to pin it, and I'm not going to sew this yet because I'll have to flip it up in a minute to sew my sides together. So I'm just going to pin it and hold it down so that it, I can sew my straps on and they'll be the right way. You'll understand it in a minute a little better, but that's all I'm going to do. And now I'm just measuring how far I went down so I know to do them all that way. So now that I have my bag all clipped, I'm going to go to my machine. I'm going to start in the middle on the bottom, and I'm going to go all the way around my strap, and then I'm going to go all the way around my straps on the inside. Now this was a booger. I'm not even going to kid you because it was so stiff, but I got it on and it looks great. So now what I'm going to do is I did that wrong. You have to open your seams up. Yeah. Open your seam up. That's why we didn't sew them yet, okay? And I'm going to put a clip right there. Now you can pin it, and I'm going to go all the way down the sides. And I'm not going to sew the bottom yet. I know I have it tacked, but I have to take it off. See? I just had it holding there. And actually, this piece was too long. I gave you the correct measurements. I had to cut mine off. But I don't go all the way down to the bottom. Okay? I'm going to flip it around. And I'm going to unfold the other side. And I'm going to do the other side. And then I'll pin the bottom. And then I have to sew all the way around. Now, when you pin your bottom, you'll have to tuck it in just a little bit. Or, you want to tuck it to the inside, not the outside. You'll see when you start putting your clips on. But you want to clip this all the way around. Now, when you get it clipped or pinned, it should look something like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to take it to your machine and you're going to sew around it. But you're going to go in pretty good ways, like 1/2 inch maybe. And that's going to be my seams. This is the part I had to cut off. Now I didn't have to tuck so much in, and this makes it a lot easier. So I gave you the exact measurements after I cut this off. I remeasured everything and wrote it down so that you would know. So now this tucks in a whole lot easier. And then I'm going to go sew my bottom on. And I do this on both sides. So this is what you should have, and I'm just going to clip my corner off. Just round it off just a little bit. If you know how to do a bag, you might could do it better than this. I don't know. This is my first time I did this. Y'all have to give me a break. I did this myself, okay? I think it comes out pretty stinking good, but So now I'm going to come up missing for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Now I'm just going to take my clips off, and I'm going to fold this down once I got everything sewn on, okay? I'm going to go to my ironing board, and I'm going to iron all those seams apart. I'm going to split them apart. That way it lays flatter, okay? So I'm going to iron those and then stitch it all down. Make sure I have all of them ironed, and then I'm just going to stitch it down. Now, you don't have to finish this edge because we're going to sew the lining in, and you'll never see the edge, okay? So I'm going to do this to all my little flappies and then sew it. Now, this is my lining fabric. And I did it the exact same way, except this was way easier to sew because it didn't have all that stiff stuff in there. So, my edges got a little wrinkly. I don't understand why, but it's okay. It's going on the inside, so you won't see it anyway. So, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this inside, okay, and I'm make sure I did my ironing on my little seams the exact same way so that everything lays flat. Okay, I didn't sew that one yet. I did not sew it yet. My bad. I forgot what I did. So I'm going to stick this in. And then I'm going to match up my seams. And I'm going to put my lining in. I'm going to take my clips off, clip it back on. And I'm putting these exactly together. Okay? And then I'm going to clip it all the way around. And then I'm going to go stitch the two together. Now I'm going to stitch it one close to the top. And then I'm going to stitch it down on the bottom before, it's still going to be on the band, but I'll be the top of the band and the bottom of the band. I'm going to put 2 rows of stitching in here. Okay, now if you remember, I told you this bag was going to be big because I wanted to put my, if I ever want to take my Singer or a bigger machine, I could put it in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip however much I want it shut. Plus, it's really wide, okay? So I'm going to clip it. Now, I could have went in more, but I didn't. And I'm going to take my cam snaps, and I'm going to put my holes in here, and I am going to add snaps so that I can snap this together when I have my smaller machines or my normal machines. And then if I have a bigger machine, I can unsnap it and they'll fit as well. That's what I'm talking about when I say cam snaps. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set in my cam snaps. And you have a pair of pliers. You have your snaps. They go front and back. You got a male and a female part. You've seen me do these before, I'm sure, because I use my cam snaps all the time. So that's all I'm going to do in this is just put my snaps on. So here is my little bag, and I love it. It may not be perfect, but I love it. I got nice handles. My machine sits down in there just fine. And then I can snap and unsnap if I ever want to put my bigger machine. See, that machine is huge. I may have to take it apart to put it in there, but I made it a little bigger. So I have one bag that I made to carry my craft supplies, and now I have one to tote my machine. I appreciate y'all, and I thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, you are a blessing. Goodbye.